Shareholder activism is a pursuit close to Geoff Wilson's heart, and it's no wonder why when he's the founder, chairman and chief investment officer of Wilson Asset Management, the investment manager for 8 listed investment companies, LICs, who invest over $5 billion on behalf of more than 130,000 retail investors. Geoff, welcome to the Stock Network.
Thanks, Lel. Good to be here.
Now, Geoff, given reporting season has now concluded, how did WAM's 8 LICs perform and what's your outlook for the year ahead?
Well, obviously the listed investment companies, they invest in the stock market, from the largest companies to the smallest. WAM leaders being focusing on the largest companies to, WAM microcap looking at the smallest, and global assets and alternate assets. So it's quite a, if you want to, depending on what your exposure you want, we've got it all. They've all had very good 6-month periods. The equity market has been strong, probably a little bit surprisingly strong for the year to December. That's what, the reporting period. And as everyone who's in the equity market knows, so far this year, it's been a very strong start. So, everyone's performed well and they're well positioned.
Well, that's good to hear. Now, when it comes to retail shareholders, what do you think are the key issues that are facing Aussie retail shareholders this year, and how have you been advocating on their behalf?
Well, I actually think just people in Australia, like this period is difficult from an economic perspective. The cost of living, interest rates, accommodation, rent prices, and the inflation. So the real world is finding it difficult. In terms of people that are just exposed to the equity market, one of the positive things is the equity market has been performing well. So in terms of what are we advocating or we focused on, it's really things that are on people's mind, even though franking credits have been broadly off the table. They're a bit nervous that the current government might do something there, but that looks pretty quiet from our perspective. They're concerned about the tax on unrealised capital gains in super funds. So that's that is just inequitable and it's unfair, and it's actually an illogical tax. And so we're fighting against that. There'll be a Senate hearing soon. We're putting our submission in the next week or so. Also, a bit more nuanced. For the people that invest in the stock market, they're a little bit concerned or confused about the changes of sophisticated investor test, increasing, the test or changing the test. We were down in Canberra last week talking to, the Treasury policy people, and they understand, clearly, the dynamics. And what we're saying to them is, any company that's raising money, it's listed on the stock market, it's got to comply with the continuous disclosure rules of the stock market. Why create another test for allowing people to get into a placement at a discount? And so we're trying to get Treasury to level the playing field and let all investors, sophisticated and retail mum and dad investors, to participate in placements if they want to, because to me that makes sense. It's New Zealand had our type of rules back 20 years ago, but then they changed it very quickly and really leveled the playing field. So that's what we're focused on.
Now, Geoff, I know you've been doing this for a number of decades, obviously very passionate, and outlined a number of issues there that you are advocating for. On a personal note, how does it feel like to lead an organisation that manages $5 billion for more than 130,000 retail investors? What do you find most challenging about that?
Well, I think for everyone we manage money for is, we want to perform, and it's not myself. We employ a little over 55 people. We've got 15 professional fund managers. So everyone feels the pressure. Probably, the guys managing the money, making the investment decisions day to day, they feel more pressure. And it's really, to perform and not to lose money for people, and to make money and to make better than what they could do by, managing the money themselves. We've really got to add value for them.
Absolutely. And on the flip side, a lot of responsibility, but I know you're also currently undertaking travel around Australia where you're meeting a number of these retail investors. What do you find the most rewarding?
To me, the investors, like the 130, if I could sit down with our 130,000 investors every day, I'd love to, because they've all, everyone's got a different insight, everyone's got a different information that they bring to the party, and as sort of Peter Lynch said in his book, sort of Beating the Street, that everyone has a competitive advantage. I mean, Buffett talks about it as well. So to me, it's fascinating talking to our shareholders, because they all have views and insights, which adds value. And what we're trying to do as investment professionals is collect all the information, and they've got as much information as we collect from sitting down, sometimes with managing directors of large companies.
Well, Geoff, thank you so much for shedding light on your competitive advantage when it comes to investing, and keep up the great work at WAM.
Yeah, thanks, Lel. Thank you very much.